So what have we got? I've got a finished project. This is my finished project. I had a finished example before, and this is branched off that. That's a really terrible view, but if I do this, you can see that I've just branched this project off my wherever finished example was here. So this little asterisk all the way up, lots of red dashes, this guy. So there's nothing else. It's just a finished project. Theoretically, it should be the same as the ones you've got going because I did this one when I was teaching this module last year. So we should be good. I'm going to run server and just have it running. So this is a conversation about setting up Insomnia, right? That's where all the questions are. Kind of already done one of these, but where specifically shall we start? Should we start with a fresh, brand new example?
Yeah, maybe just explain about the environments and why you would do that. And some people were having issues with generating a token for their super user in a deployed version. So having both the local and the deployed and this file structure and the environments is a good starting point.
So Insomnia gives you some abilities to manage environments. I've got localhost and I've got my my deployed site, which maybe still works. Apparently it doesn't still work. Oh, wait, I've got different credentials. There we go. It does still work. It's just over there. So that allows me to manage the different credentials or environments between. The way that I tend to do this, and this is sort of the way that is suggested by Insomnia, is to set up a base environment that looks a lot like this, which is to have a scheme, a base path, and a base URL. And the base URL is defined by those sorts of settings. So if I was to create a brand new environment, maybe this is a better way of doing it, we would go about it this way. So how much of this stuff am I going to forget?
Maybe make a new collection and kind of go through how
I'm just going to dump a whole bunch of this stuff into a chat that I've got with you so I can, I'm going to forget all of these things off the top of my head. This is going to be excellent. I'm going to pause this video because this will be really boring content. So we're going to call this crowd funding 2024. Create. Cool. All right. Blank slate. Just to make sure this works, let's just start and create a regular HTTP request. And please raise your hand if you don't understand any of what's going on now. 127.0.0.1, 8,000 projects, plural. That sounds about right. Do I need a slash on the end? Probably.
Yes.
Send. Cool. All right. So I've sent this. I've got some data back. Clearly that works. So this is probably what you've been doing. You've probably gone oh, I'm going to call this slash projects. And then we could go, oh, let's duplicate that or whatever. I'm going to call this project 1. And this will be your get for a detail. And we'll put /1 up the top there. Oh. And that'll give us just the detail for that. Yep, question?
Yeah, it was just Alicia told me in class that that's the proper way of doing it with the end of the URL. But I have just called mine, get project list or get detail view or whatever. Yeah. So what's the benefit of actually doing that?
For me, that reads like what it is. I guess it depends. You could call it whatever you want. You could call it project detail PK equals 1 or something, and be like, oh, that's what it is. So I prefer
Whatever
it
helps.
as human. But I think it reads better the other way because that is what it is. Like it's more explicit as to, you know, it is /projects/1 because that's where we're going.
Yeah, I guess it's easier. You know what you need to copy then if you
Well,
work on it.
Well, normally when I'm looking at, you're looking at your URLs and you're wanting to test something, you'll remember the URL because it's the thing you're looking at. Whereas if you give it an abstract name rather than an explicit name, then or like a URL is the name, then it could drift or it could change. So for me, this makes a lot more sense because I'm going to be looking over here in where is it, projects, URLs. I'm going to be looking in here at the work that I'm doing. And I'm going to go, oh, this is the thing that I'm trying to test. So when I come back here, it's easy for me if it's the same.
Yeah,
that's why I do it that way. Cool. All right. So we've seen this. That's this is the boring way to do it. But then you've got your new situation where you're like, oh, now I've got projects in 2 places. So now I'm going to have to duplicate everything, and I've got the second projects, and I'm going to have to change it to. Hang on, let me just copy my domain name. I'm going to have to change this to that. I'm going to have to put HTTPS in there and send it. And it's going to work, but now I've got 2, right? So they're the same, but they're different because it's a different environment. That's really frustrating and it gets very annoying. So the best way or the way to solve this problem is with environments. So we can go into environments here. I can put this base standard template. So this is something that I got from Insomnia itself. When you import into Insomnia, it will give you these values when you import a project. And there are ways to do that, but we're not going into that. That's another whole conversation. So we have a base environment, and this base environment runs in this standard scheme. So we're going to go, the standard scheme is HTTPS, because that's what we'll use by default. The host I'm going to leave blank because that's going to be specific for every environment. And the base path I'm going to leave as an empty string because that's my default. So these will be my default settings, which I'll override later on. We could have some other stuff in here as well, but I'm just not going to. So, oh, shared environment. This is new environment.
Yeah.
So scheme host. So what do I need? Scheme and host. So I'm going to change this. I'm going to call this one. I'm not loving the new interface, guys. It's been a year since I've used Insomnia, so
Yeah,
I think
when
in
I
the
was
old video it said sub environments.
yeah,
So
sub-environments.
well, there you go. What are they called now? Something else.
just that.
They
They
just
don't
come
really
up
have a
with
name.
base.
Localhost and scheme is HTTP, just HTTP because we don't need anything else. That should be working right. Host, is that what I called it? Yep, sounds good. I'm going to create another shared environment. These are sub-environments, but they've just not called them that. I'm going to call this, what is my server called? I'm going to give it the full name of the server, the deployed one. Boom. And in here, I'm going to go host is this. And then we're happy. So now if I come back to these projects, I don't need to have 2 of them. I can delete one of these. And with this project here, I can go, cool, I don't need that. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to go control and space, and I'm going to say base URL projects. Now, if I try and do that, it's going to fail because it won't work. I haven't selected an environment. So localhost, run that. Local,
Number.
helps if you put your port number in there. Localhost port. Yeah, there we go. Try that again. Hey, it does work. And then we change from localhost to our server, and it works as well. So we can switch quite quickly between them. But what about authentication? Well, if we're going to test our admin user, we should probably create a new HTTP request. And this one I'm going to call, what does Django call its login system? It's like token auth token something.
API token auth token auth. Wait, I don't know.
API dash token dash auth.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Is it a post? I
Yeah.
think it is. So
Yes.
control space, base URL /
That's what I was trying to remember when I was showing Ida. Control space. I was like, what is it again?
It's been a year and I
Oh.
still remember. So API token auth. Let's give that a go. Cool, it's telling us we're missing some stuff, so at least we know we've got the top bit right. We're going to body JSON, and in here I'm going to go username in quotes because JSON, and my username is going to be admin, and then my password is going to be admin, and I'm going to send that. And is it going to work? It is going to work. That's quite good. Happy with that. Problem with this is we've hard coded these values. So what we could do is we could go into our local host environment here, and we could have, say, admin user. I wonder if I can actually, let's give something a go. I want to try something out.
Go for it.
User name admin. I haven't done this before. This is live coding and live experimentation on a recording that people are going to watch for years to come. This might be stupid. Let's see what happens. All right, admin. We're going to change this. I'm going to go control space. I'm going to say admin. Look, you can do it. Admin user username. Sweet.
Ooh.
I'm going to go here. I'm going to go control space. I'm going to say pass, admin user password. I'm happy with that. Right, now we send that again. We get the same number because it sent the same thing. We can now switch to our weather dawn, and it's going to give us an error because there's no values. So we're going to go into here. We're going to copy our admin user. And we're going to create an admin user over here. I'm pretty sure it was admin, and I'm pretty sure the password was fluffy kittens exclamation mark, $, something.
Yes. Exclamation mark.
Exclamation mark. All right, there we go. Cool. And then we're going to close that. And well, actually, one of the things I like to do as well while we're here is change the color. So our deployed one is kind of our production server. I like to make that red. Local host, I like to have like a greeny blue or something very much not red to sort of imply that this is a safe place for mucking around, maybe green, because then you can quite easily, quickly just be like red, green, right? So local host, we'll send that again. That worked. Switch, weather dawn, send it again. That worked. Cool. We get a different one. It's gone to a different place. We can look at this timeline and we can see that it's gone to HTTPS weather dawn. It's posted the stuff. It's used the fluffy kittens password that's in our user, and we're pretty happy with that. Does that make sense? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Cool.
Yeah.
Right. So sending as a user. So there's a few ways we could approach this. One way I've done this is creating folders and having user details in each of the folders. I'm not sure I'm the biggest fan of that now, but I was trying to find a way that really solved it. I think that maybe what I'll do here is I'm going to just go admin for this one. And then maybe I'll duplicate that and I'll have like user or something. And we'll use a different username. Well, this requires me knowing what a different username is. Did I?
I'm just
Oh, what it is.
curious.
Yep.
While you're searching for another user's details,
Yep.
You said you're not a fan of the folder structure anymore.
Well,
But how will you regulate the actual environment, or I guess environment within the environment for each user if you have folders?
let's muck around and see. I don't really know. I haven't really thought it through. It's probably the best way of saying that. They're the same. Did I just literally have the same one in both? Not my password, test user.
They look the same.
All right, that's fine. All right, it can be the same. I don't. It doesn't bother me. In this particular one, I've set up folders. We'll go the non-folder way. I think I'm just worried that the folders are too difficult to keep track of. We'll do it both ways.
Has anyone actually done the way that Ben's video showed with the folders?
Yes, I have.
What did you think?
Did you find it made sense?
Yeah, it made sense. I think the hardest thing is actually just getting things into the folders and the right level of the folders.
Yeah, that's what I sort of found about it. I didn't love how that worked.
Yeah, it's like it moves slightly to the right when it's in the folder.
Yeah.
Visually.
Is that gonna prettify? Is there something? What's wrong? Oh, it's got trailing comma because you know, good old Jason being Jason. Just let me. There we go. Oh no, it hates me still. Cool.
Sometimes it's doing it and you have to press the space bar and it goes away. It's weird.
Oh really?
Yeah, I found that.
Test user. That looks valid. We had that last time. I remember that last year there was a bug in it. So I'm just going to go here. I'm going to go into our JSON body. I'm going to change this from admin to test user username. I think that was username I clicked on. There it was. And this one, I'm going to change that to test user password. I'm going to hit send. It's going to say unable to log in. So clearly I didn't make a test user for my deployed server. I'm sure I probably did, but I don't know what it is.
Could you not get a list? Could you not make a request for a list?
Did I make one? Should we have a look? It's been a long time since I touched this. Views of users. Custom user detail, custom user list. Does it need authentication? Is it just going to give me all the users? Looks like it will. Cool. Well, let's find out. What did I call it? I'm going to assume I called it /users, which seems like a sensible thing to call it. I'm going to go control space. I'm going to go base URL. I'm going to go /users/ I'm going to send that. It's going to tell me that test user 1 does exist and test user exists. Maybe test user 1 was the name of my other.
I think it was test user 1.
Test user 1. Should I try that?
Because I remember thinking technically it's test user 2 because you're admin, you're testing, so that's 1. Yeah, I remember thinking that.
Oh, numbers start at 0, remember?
Yeah, that's true.
So that's me just totally bluffing my way through. So we've got a user. How do we want to approach this? So I think that maybe what we'll do in here is we'll spice this up a little bit and have, we'll put a token in here. And our token will be control space. And I'm going to go response object, response body attribute, that's the one. And then I'm going to go in here and I'm going to say it's a response from body and it's going to be from admin. And this is sort of why I'm leaning away from folders maybe. But we'll play this out and see what happens. So the response is $.token. And I want it to update when expired, and 60 seconds sounds great to me. I need to put a comma at the end because Jason, and let's do that again. So I'll put one down here, token, in quotes, control space, body attribute. We'll go in here. We'll use the response body from the user. We're going to use $.token because that's where it lives. I'm going to go when expired, and I'm going to have 60-second update. That just means it'll update itself every 60 seconds, and we're not going to worry about it too much. It just means it won't run every time, which won't slow things down. So now I hit send. We're good. Users. All right. So if I want to try and do something now, so let's say we have a post. I don't like how it starts up the top. Thank you. Don't know why triple click doesn't work. It's probably because they're Windows users and they don't know what triple click is. Projects. I'm going to do a post, create a new project, control space, base URL. I'm going to go / projects. We're going to have a body. It's going to be a JSON body. What does a JSON body look like? Looks like this, apparently. Let me shove that in there. So we're going to have a thing. We're going to change the title. What's the title going to be? Actually, if I just send an empty one, is it going to complain to me? It's going to say authentication not provided. Cool. So we use bearer token. This is a question to the class because I don't remember.
Yes, we did.
Token is going to be control space. For this one, I'm going to use my user token, admin user token, test user token. Let's do test user token. Right, and it's bearer, or is it token?
Token with a capital T.
Token, thank you. And if I hit send, cool, it works. And this is going to tell me everything I need to know because we need a title. We're going to go title. What is the title of my project?
So Ida, this is a good way to get all the fields and copy and paste with it all formatted in JSON because you were getting them from your code and then you had to format manually.
Yes, you send like an empty request. Yeah, that's a good plan. Yep.
What are we going to call this? Test. That's really boring. We're going to description is going to be really boring description. We're going to have a goal. I don't know what that is, but I'm going to assume it's an integer, which is going to be, I don't know,
$1,000.
$1,000. Last time it was puppies, so 1,000 puppies. Image. Do we need an image?
I think
this
it
field is required.
does.
It
Yeah,
says this field is required.
It is required.
Yeah, and it needs to be a URL, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's put a URL in there. Oh, that's a bit gross. Cool, that's done. What's next? Image is open. That's weird. You think that'd be by you think that'd be a Boolean by default. And date created. Cool. I'm going to go control space. I'm going to put date. Oh, that didn't work. What is the thing called? Now?
Date time.
Timestamp. And we're going to go timestamp. Let's try an ISO format. And we're going to look in here. Timestamp get current time. That sounds great. It's going to give us the current time. So we don't need to worry about anything else. We do need to put some quotes around it though, because JSON puts quotes around strings. So frustrating. All right, cool. Happy with that. Shall we try that? 201 created. Well, that seems to have worked. Now, if I go back to projects and I list them, Trouble cats, test. Really boring description, 1000. There's a link. Date created is not today. Yes, it is today. Sorry, it's 25th. I was going to say it. For some reason I was reading that backwards. So that's cool. Looks like now 12 o'clock. What is that? It's close to 8 o'clock. Yep, that's about right. Cool. All right, so we've got that working. So say you wanted to try it again, but with a different user. Previously with the folders, you'd move this around folders and you'd do some stuff, but now all we really need to do is just change this token to be the admin user token. Now we can do like a admin test. Oh, that's not where it goes, in here. Admin test. Admin's really boring description. I'm going to change that to 100. We'll leave everything the same, send that, boom. All right, if we look at projects, we've got admin test and test. We'll see owner 1, owner 3. Cool. That seems to work. So that's one way of approaching it.
I'm not sure I like this way, to be honest.
You don't like this way?
No, because when you start to cross-test permissions, I found it so easy to just, for example, from an authenticated user's account, try and post or try and view something that I shouldn't. I just had to change one little thing because the JSON was already there in each folder. It was all just literally changing one little thing to test. And here you would have to keep changing quite a few things when you get to the permissions, checking the permissions, I think. I don't know. It's just,
well, here is a slightly
maybe
different way. So we could keep everything the way we had it, but in this case we can go token and we go control space. What was this, the user or the admin? Oh God, I can't remember which one it was. So let's put the admin token in here. I think I did user, didn't I?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. Ah, good. Token, and then in here I'm going to go control space and I'm going to put token and we're going to get the admin user token. Cool, close. So now, now for this project I can change this one. Actually, let's just scroll, drag it up into there, into there. This might be why I hated it.
Yeah, it was annoying.
Did it go in? Oh, there it is. It's in there. All right, cool. So this project's now in there. We can go get rid of that token. I can go control space token. And it's not there. Why not? Did it not save?
Maybe it's that bug again.
Admin. Did the user one not save? No, wait. User token. All right, so we're going to generate the tokens in the one place just to make them sensible. But now this admin token, we can change this. We're going to call this generic test. Send invalid token. Ooh, error. That's fine. Token. There we go. All right, got our control space. We've got token. I can hit token. We've created a new one. Owner was 1. Generic test. Does that make sense? And now I'm going to try and drag that up into user. And let's run it again. Intriguing. Why did that happen? Environments. Why is it admin still? This is a bug from a year ago. Why hasn't it been fixed?
Yeah, it's like that bug with moving collections. It's been 3 years.
Owner 3. All right, so owner 3. ID 11. I'm going to drag that back down here. Run it again. Owner 1. So we can just drag it between which one. I actually prefer this one of just having the token, but doing the authentication, because what I was doing before was putting all the usernames and passwords. I think that by having those in this environment here, like admin user, test user here, it means you can set those to each environment, although I haven't really done this one, have I? Guess I'll have to catch up and put the rest of them in. Was this for admin? I assume it was.
You've got 5 minutes, by the way.
Yep. Always wait fired 60 done. And I'm just going to copy this one because you can just copy and paste these. And then I'm going to go in here and I'm going to change that from admin to user. I'm going to put a comma and delete it just to make sure it saves. Cool. Now I can switch to this one. Weather dawn. I know that by default this should just work. So let me go back to projects and hit send. No result for token. Why did token not have a result? Test user token. Did I name it wrong?
The response. Is it because you didn't generate one for the test user in the deployed?
I able to log in. What? No, I thought I got that working. Test user 1, not my password. What did I change? Oh, that got changed. Well, apparently something broke. What is going on there? Let's have a look at the timeline just to see what we sent. Test user 1, not my password. Did I get that? Is it just test user?
I don't remember you generating the token for that deployed environment for that user.
Yeah, maybe I've got a different password. Maybe the password is something that I hid. Well, in theory, that should work. But if we went to admin now, if I go send, that will work because the admin user will work. So we can see this is now ID 2 because we've created a new one, but that is in our deployed state. So we've just created this simply by changing our environment from local to the remote. So speeds things up a fair bit. I think for me, I'm thinking this seems like a more sensible way of doing it because you can sort of drag them around. Before we were having to put these auth tokens inside these folders and then having to run them. It sort of seemed a bit clunky. I'm feeling.
I had one. I only had one. I had one that wasn't bound to any user just to get a token to generate to start a folder, and I never put it in a folder. And then, yeah, and then I don't know. It was just easy for me. But this way, if this makes sense to someone, it's probably a simpler, less clunky version. Does anyone have any questions? Did you put us on mute?
No, I don't think I put anyone on mute.
I was thinking about like there was a lot of backwards and forwards. Maybe you can just do a little recap of what we just did.
Well, I was going quickly because it was recording. So what did we do? We created environments or sub-environments. I used this base template that's going to be the same for every project you do. We created these for localhost. We created these for, this is red because I tried to log in and it didn't work. we created these for our remote. So we've created a host entry. In this one, there's a scheme as well, an admin user and a test user. We've defined the admin user's token in the admin user section and the test user token in the test user section. We've done the same thing for the remote server as well. And then in these folders, we've created an environment in the folder, which is just called token and uses the specific token for that user. So this user is using test user token because that's what that one is test user. Technically, we should probably have called that test user rather than user. Maybe I should just quickly test user. So test user and admin uses admin. So when we drag one of these projects in or one of the requests, this bearer token, which is just looking for token, it'll get the token from this admin folder. And the admin folder then makes sure it gets the token from this request here because it's configured to get this one. So it'll get that value. So if we look over here at the token, if it should tell me it's going to be 76 blah, 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 which was what the value of this admin here was, 76 thing.
So you got